Hi there. Today we're going to look at another CCC competition. It's from 2014 J2 and it's called vote count. So I'm not going to read all of this. You could pause the video and read, but essentially we have to essentially count the votes, right? So there's two singers, singer A and singer B. They're giving us two arrays here. The first array is integers. The second array is strings. And the first array corresponds with the second array. So the first element 6. And surely enough, there's 6 votes. 8, there's 8 votes. 3, and there's 3 votes. Cool. And the votes are either for A or singer B. So A, B, B, A, and so on and so forth. So the question here is tally up the singers, tally up the votes, and see who won. And output either A won by the number of votes, B won by the number of votes, or it's a tie. So I've got the answers here. You could manually count them, but I'll show you how to do this. There's multiple ways of doing this. I'm going to do it in one of the most inefficient ways. I'm actually going to be using both arrays. You don't even have to really use both arrays, but I'm going to go ahead and use both arrays just to show you how it's done. So func find answer, let's call it, and I'm going to take in two arrays. So I'm going to call it array of int, and this is obviously going to be an array of integers. And the second array we're taking is obviously an array of string, and that is obviously going to be, I'm going to change that actually. So I'm going to do in out so that I could modify the array, and that's going to be an array of string. And I'm going to output just a string that essentially tells me who won. Cool, so that's my function definition. Pretty easy. Now Xcode's going to yell at me. So I'm just going to put an empty string here so it doesn't give me an error saying that you're missing a return. Okay, so what do we do here? I'm going to create a few variables here. So I'm going to go with var count A, which I'm going to initialize as 0, var count B, I'm going to initialize as 0, and these two variables are going to keep count of how many votes there are. And now I'm going to say var winner. That's going to be the final string that I'm going to output. I'm going to go var difference because I also need to know the difference, which I'm going to initialize as 0. So I'm going to keep the counts here. I'm going to put the winning string, the final string here that I'm going to output, and I'm going to see what the difference in votes are. All right, let's have a look. How do we do this? Really, it's really easy. It's a for loop inside a for loop. So let me show you how to do this. Again, there's a more efficient way of doing this. You don't have to go big O n squared complexity time. But I'm doing a for loop inside a for loop, so it's not the most efficient, but it's fine. So let's go ahead and do for index in 0 to array of strings. That counts. So I'm going to be looping through the first element all the way to the very last element of the string arrays. So whatever I'm going to take in here. And then inside of that for loop, I'm going to have another for loop. I'm going to call this index 2, for example, in 0 again to, right, all the way to array of strings. I'm going to put index here and dot count. And I'll explain to you what that does in a second. All right, so I've got a for loop that goes from 0 to the count, and here it goes 0 to the count as well, but not for the whole array, but actually just for that particular element, because as you could tell here, every single element is a string. So what I'm doing here is I'm traversing through the characters of the string. So I'll give you an example. Let's say we take in this string right here. The top loop is going to go, well, we start with 0. So 0 is this element right here. And then once I go into the second loop, I'm going from 0 to, well, what the second loop does, the inner loop does, is actually traverses through the characters of that element. So element 0 here, for example, we've got six characters in here. I'm traversing from 0 to that array, but not the whole array, only the element, right? Because 0 here, so only the first element, so only through this A, B, B, A dot count. So I'm traversing 6 times here. And then when I finish the inner loop, I'm going to go to the top loop. This will change to a 1. And then I'm going to go through this, and then this inner loop goes through the characters of that element, and so on and so forth. All right, so I'm going to go element by element, and then I'm going to go string by string. So let's have a look here. And then inside the inner loop, I'm going to do a simple if statement. So if array of string index, right? So it's the index that we're looking at, dot first, I'm going to force unwrap this, equals a, well, uppercase A, then simply count A plus equals 1, right? So increment count A. So we're counting, okay, we found an A. Else, right? Otherwise, we're just going to go count B plus equals 1. Cool? And that's essentially it, to be honest. Now, the problem is we're always checking the first count. So this is a very bad thing to do, but I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to destroy the array. Array of string, right? Array of string index dot remove first. Remove first. So I'm checking for the first. If it's A or B, then I'm removing it. You could add the array later. I could have not done in out. I could have taken this array and saved it in another array and then destroyed that array. That's probably a better way of doing it. But I'm just using in out. I'm actually destroying the array. But you don't need to do that. You could just create another variable here that takes in that array, and you could play around with that array and destroy it. So anyway, so I'm going through character by character and seeing if it's A, I'm adding 1 to count A. If it's B, if it's otherwise, which has to be B, I'm adding 1 to the B, and I'm removing first. So I'm going through the array, and that's essentially it. That's pretty much our whole. That's pretty much our whole thing. We're done here. We get the answer, the proper answer in count A or B, but since we're being asked to provide a string, we're going to do a few more if statements just to make this finalize, and we're going to output the string. So check this out. These are simple if statements. So if count A is greater than count B, right, then we're going to change winner, right, that's our string, to A1, right? Else if count A is less than, less than count B, we're gonna say winner is B1, right? And else, which is, it means it's a tie, they're equal, gonna say winner is, it's a tie. Cool, that's pretty much it. So now that gives us the string that we're going to output. And one last thing, we also need the difference. So if winner equals A1, then go ahead and difference equals count A minus count B. Else if winner, else if winner equals B1, right? We're gonna go ahead and do difference equals count B minus count A. Else, which means it's neither, so it's a tie, we're gonna say nothing, right? That's essentially it. And here we're gonna do I should probably do else if it's a tie. What did they ask me to do here? It's a tie by 0. I'm gonna say it's a tie. That's what I want. Else, yeah, it's fine. We'll leave it as is. So we're gonna return winner here. Let's actually check if this works or not. Oh, Xcode just quit on me, and that's fine. I think I know why. That's because I got rid of the this. Yeah, I got rid of this for a second. That's why. All right, that's fine. So we're gonna go winner return. What are we gonna return? We're gonna return. Let's have a look here. We're gonna return. It's a string, so we're gonna return. This is tricky, so let's do this. We're gonna go winner. I'll explain what's happening here. Winner, and we're gonna say by difference. Is it different or difference? I meant to write difference, not different. Votes. Anyways, all right. So this loop right, oh no, it erased my if statements. Damn. All right, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. Let's go ahead and rewrite these if statements. Let's make sure I save. That's Xcode for you. Count A is greater than count B, then, can't believe I'm rewriting this, winner equals A1. Yeah, this is a pain in the butt. Now I know what my students go through when we do these tests. Count B, winner, Xcode, winner equals B1. Yeah, with Xcode you always gotta save, you know, it's really buggy, I'm not gonna lie. I love Swift, but Playgrounds and Xcode in general is wicked buggy, so I'm gonna go ahead and save just to make sure. And then if winner equals A1, I'm gonna go through all of this and explain exactly what I'm doing. Difference equals count A minus count B. I should really change different to difference. But anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about here. Else if winner equals B1, it's lowercase w. Otherwise this won't work. Right? These strings have to be identical, right? To the thing up top. Else if different equals count B minus count A. All right, this should work. Let's go ahead and call this up, find answer. So check this out. If we put in, well, I guess it's votes 1 and counts 1, right? So this is an integer, so it's going to be counts 1, counts 1, votes 1. As you can tell here, didn't really use counts 1, to be honest. Not necessary. I think the reason that they give you both is because in Python you would need both. So 2, 3, and this is 2 and 3. So let's go ahead and run this and let's see if we get the answers. Oh, that's a minus. All right. Let's go ahead and save. Let's run this again. So check this out. B1 by 6 votes, A1 by 4 votes, and it's a tie. And surely enough, that is the truth. Now, if I change something here, if I add another B here, right? So if I add another B at the end, watch what happens here. And I run this, it should say B1 by 1 vote. And surely enough, it does. If I go ahead and erase that B and I add, let's say, 2 A's, it's going to say A1 by 2 votes. Cool. And this is B1 by 6 votes. If I go ahead and add, I don't know, anywhere, 6 A's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it should say it's a tie. And yes, it does. And if I add one more A, as an example, it will say A1 by 1 vote. So let's go through this one more time. So I've created 4 variables here, count A, count B, that's holding the count, the winner, that's going to hold the string that I'm going to output, and the difference. So I have an outer loop and an inner loop, and this whole thing does the magic actually. So the outer loop goes through and iterates through the elements in the array, while the inner loop goes and iterates through the characters in the array. And essentially I'm doing an if statement here. I'm checking the first character, right? And I'm saying if it's an A, add 1 to the count for A. If it's B, essentially otherwise, if it's B, add 1. And then I'm destroying this array. Not a good idea, but I am. I'm removing the first element, which means the second element is now the first element, and I'm doing this over and over again. This essentially gives me the answer. What I'm doing here is, after we get the count for A or B, whatever those counts are, I'm saying if count A is larger than count B, then say A1. Otherwise, put if A is less than B, put B1. Otherwise, it means that it's a tie, so put it's a tie. And what I'm doing here is I'm saying if winner is A1, right, then essentially get the difference, take A, subtract it from B, and put in the difference. And then otherwise, take, if B1, take the difference by taking B and subtracting A from B, right? So I'm just reversing this. And the string that I'm outputting is, I'm saying the winner, so the winner is one of these strings, winner by, and then the difference, so the difference is going to be a number, so like 2, 5, whatever, and I'm putting votes. So A1 by, the difference is a number, and then votes, and that gives you the string. So this is just to make the output look nice, but the real work is really done right here in these, 9 lines of code, 10 lines of code. Cool. All right. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching this, and have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.